Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm so excited. Becky, thank you so much, first of all, for sharing your story today, because you have such an incredible story and it needs to be shared with the world, right? I mean, that's what we need to do. So, many of you guys have always thought about or heard about me talking about my supplements and all the things. And, a lot of people send me messages and say, how are you able to do this? And it's one thing if one person is able to do things and having energy and having like weight loss reduction, and stuff. But often people can say like, yeah, that's just the one person. And today I want to introduce you to my friend Becky, because she's been amazing. We've been doing this for, since I've been with Plexus. What is it, 3.5 years now, almost 3.5 years. I know her that long, and I think you've been longer with Plexus, right? So I'm not going to say anymore. Becky, go ahead. Tell me a
No,
little
I
bit about your
started
story.
maybe like a month after you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we basically started
So yeah, like
together.
Stephanie's, yeah. Um, we started similar, maybe a few months difference or whatever, but I originally signed up and joined Plexus because I was in a space that um I recognized that I was looking forward to the naps that I could get at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was looking forward to my 3 to 5 window of time that was just like binge eating for
Yeah.
me. Like I would get home from work and I'd want to eat and I would eat everything that was bad for me, but it's what my body felt like it needed. Um, I was overweight. And it was something that I knew with my family's heart history. I had to watch for hypertension. I had to watch for high blood pressure. I had to watch for all of those things. And being 250 pounds at that point, I was on the cusp and I was pre everything. Every time I went to the doctor, they're like, you got to do something different. You've got to do something to get yourself. You're moving in that direction of just not being in a healthy space.
Right.
So I knew it was something that I had to do something different. And I jumped in and I said, well, let me start looking at this to see how this can help, because I've done it all. I did paleo, I did Weight Watchers, I did all that stuff, and nothing stuck. Didn't
Nothing
stick
worked,
with me.
huh?
I
Were you
lost.
skeptic? Were you skeptic? Let me interrupt you for a second. Were you skeptic in the beginning about supplements? Yeah, right.
Yes, I didn't know a lot about them. I didn't research enough about them. I lived in that world where it was a vitamin's a vitamin. Like I don't feel any different when I take a multivitamin. So
Mm.
what is this going to do different for me? So it was something that I couldn't justify and understand. That what do you mean this is going to help? Like I could eat better foods. I just need something to control my mind. That's all. I need a mind control, right? But what I didn't recognize and learning through the time is my mind was being controlled by my gut.
Right.
And until that got in a better space, this wasn't going to fix. I was constantly going to be on that cycle. And
Did
shortly
you know
around that time
anything?
too.
Did you know anything about gut health before you got shared with? Did you?
Not really. So
Yeah.
I knew a little bit. A good friend of mine was starting to talk about gut health. My friend Tracy was sharing about how these supplements help with gut health, but it
Mhm.
wasn't something that connected with me
Right.
until shortly around the same time, my daughter was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disorder. And when my girlfriend was talking about gut health, when my friend Tracy was talking about gut health, and I started to research and find connections with inflammation and gut health and how it could help her, also started popping up about how it could help those lose weight. And I'm like, light bulb went off. And I'm like, well, maybe this is my missing piece. This is something I've never investigated
Right.
to see if that's what's preventing from keeping it off. And it was, by a few months in, I was feeling better. I
I
didn't
know.
lose
I've
weight.
just been watching you like the whole time. Like your weight is you're just getting like said, you're getting to the point sometimes where I want to say like, okay, that's it. Now let me give you something to eat. No. Because you just keep
It's
going, right?
definitely, well, and that's a funny thing too. And that's something else that I've learned also about this journey is that it's not the scale. Because my weight on my scale in the last few months, it's gone up. Like, guys, we're living in a world that it's just stress is going to increase inflammation, which is going to kick our butts. And us being women in our 40s, our hormones
Yeah.
hate us regularly.
Right.
So I, I've given up on the scale. I look at my clothes, I look at the puffiness in my face, I pay attention to my joints when I wake up in the morning. those are all my signs to say, am I on the right track, or do I
Oh,
need to
yeah, on the
fix
wrong track.
something because I fell off too far?
Yeah.
So,
That is
I
one
mean,
thing, you know,
yeah,
it's funny that you just said that with the joints, you know, that is one thing that I had noticed too. And even now, like, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little off the wagon here. In Germany now, I'm having a little bit of a hard time taking my supplements as regular and stuff as I have.
mhm,
And gosh, I can never say that I consciously had been constipated, right? I mean, and I know some people think that's TMI, but seriously, we all poop, right? Everybody poops, so whatever.
right.
so, so the
We
fact
talk
is,
about it with our kids and our
yeah,
dogs so freely.
exactly, right? So
As
whatever, it's
adults, we need to
fine.
be okay,
But
right? To poop.
here's the fun thing though. It's like it's not like I'm not going, but there's such a big difference when I've taken my supplements for a couple of days, and then like just the way how my body feels. And when I forget to take it, or even if I don't have enough water in it, it is such a night and day difference that I've never thought
Mhm.
before is the case. And
Yeah,
now it's just I just keep getting reminded, and I just put the reminders on my phone again because I'm like, nope, that's it. Okay, stress is we're gonna be still always there, and then the joints, like I can feel too, like on my
yeah,
ankles and my feet, if I had too much sugar, if I hadn't taken my supplements, if I hadn't had enough water, like if something is off from what we know, what the basically the plexus way of feeling can feel like when something is off, right? You can
yeah.
feel right away. Yeah. So
Oh, yeah. I
how much weight did you lose like all together now?
So the most amount I've lost 75 pounds. Now, like I said, weights on the scale crept back up, but the clothes that I was wearing at that 75-pound weight loss still fit me. So
Yeah.
even though I may be like 10, 12 pounds heavier sometime on
Yeah.
a given day, it might be 15, my clothes are still fitting me. So to me, I'm still doing something right. And
Oh,
my
can
progress
you,
is
after when I
slow.
post this, can you post your before and after in the comments?
Yeah,
Because I mean, it's a big, huge, anybody who has watched you for a while can see what a big difference this is. And I mean, this is not something what's faked, you know, like I know that sometimes with
right.
social media, people can like put on the filters and all the things. And part of the reason why I do these things now is so that people can actually see actual people talk, because you can't
Yeah.
put filters and all the stuff into videos like that, you know. Just amazing to see. So I keep
Yeah.
interrupting you.
It's okay. Don't worry. We're talking, right? Um, so it's definitely, like I said, it's 75 pounds, but it's slow. And it's not straight down. It's up, down, up, down. My common trend has gone down. But our bodies, us being women, 40 years old, our hormones, the stress in the environment that we live in, this is why the scale, I use it as a tool to check in with, how did I eat this week? How good was I this week? And
Right.
that's all I use it as a check. I don't define it as my journey. And as Stephanie has said, it's been something that's slow. And
Yeah.
I love that it's been slow because it's stuck.
Right.
Everything else that I did was fast. And then I
Right.
fell off and gained that plus more right back. And
So what
this
are
is
the
what
non-scale victories that you have with the products? Like what aside from weight loss, what do you think is your best other
um
thing?
big things is, I used to hate running. Okay. I've been an athlete my whole life. I played volleyball, I played club volleyball, I played in college. But the one thing that absolutely was a sort of a thorn in my side, so to speak, and literally, is every time the coaches would say, time to go for a run, because you have to condition, you have to keep your heart healthy. We didn't need to do long runs, but when she would even say, let's go do a run through town, like you go do a mile and a half, I would be in tears not even 5 minutes into my run, because my back would spasm and I would have
Mhm.
excruciating pain in my hips, my back. No one could understand what was going on. We treated it, trainers, we did everything that we could to kind of mask it, so to speak, so I can continue. But it wasn't until I'm in this space now, and it's something that always continued. Every time I work out, I would struggle with it. It would be my back, or I would I always thought it was my patella tendonitis that would flare up in my knees, causing them monster pain. I couldn't move I wouldn't be able to bend my knee past 90 degrees. So I couldn't play at times.
Right.
But all of that was inflammation. By
Oh,
getting my gut healthy, I've gotten all that extra inflammation. I've gotten that my body's reaction to something it's not liking to not go to increase the inflammation in an area that's causing pain to get me to stop. I'm running. That's the whole thing is
I
I'm now at a
know.
place to where I'm running and I enjoy it. Like I love going out for a 3 mile run now. And I'm like, oh, I feel good. Let's go. I'm contemplating and considering a 10K, a half marathon, it's just stuff not like in my 20s. I would have been like, yeah, no, that's
Spartan race in Wisconsin no, not
not
next year, maybe
happening.
2020. No,
Right.
but you're right
So,
though,
I
the
mean,
running, it's funny. You remember my story, right? When I got teased when I first
mhm,
started with the pink drink, and my friends were saying, your pink drink is giving you so much energy, and like haha hee hee, like it's stupid. And I said, well, and they dared me to sign up for the half marathon with them. It was I've never even had a 5K. And then because I felt so great, I had the same experience. Like
yeah,
my knees didn't hurt anymore. They used to hurt a lot. Um, and they didn't hurt anymore. And I was able to train just for fun, right? Well, I ended
right.
up running the half marathon with them, and then I ran two half more.
I
And yeah,
remember that. You were like back to back to back. I'm like, whoa, slow your roll, sister.
with the triple, I had my 8 mile run with the triple stroller, remember?
Oh my gosh.
It was
That to
crazy.
me,
It
like, I
was
didn't know
crazy.
how you
I
did
felt
it.
like
I was like,
Superwoman. I didn't even
yeah,
realize that was something I would be able to do. And honestly, I was just like that too, that I couldn't run a mile. Like I was never a runner,
yeah.
like never.
I would say if I had to pick another non-scale victory, it would be sleep. I
Mm-hmm.
never thought that my sleep wasn't normal. Or I
Oh,
should say, I always thought that it was normal. I thought it was normal that it took me 45 minutes to an hour to fall asleep. I thought it was normal that I would wake up and I felt like I could crawl back in bed and sleep some more because I just don't feel
mm-hmm.
good. That was what I lived with. And then
Mm-hmm.
having two young kids, us as mamas, we're up all throughout the night. We're learning to survive on
Right,
little to no sleep.
right.
So I started my pink drink and the triplex and all that kind of good stuff with these supplements. I started it after I was through the baby phase, but I was
Mm-hmm.
getting into the toddler phase where
Mm-hmm.
it was just still some wake ups here or there. But what really hit me is when I noticed my head hit the pillow and I was out. I noticed that even though they got me up in the middle of the night, I laid down, my head hit the pillow after they woke up, and I went back out. And
Right.
then the biggest one is when they would wake me up in the morning, just jumped up out of bed and I went. And I was like, this isn't normal. Like, I'm used to being like, oh my God, just go back to sleep. I don't want to do this right now. Give mama another hour. But it was one of those that when that epiphany hit, I was like, oh, that's what normal sleep is supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
That was another huge victory of mine to where I'm like, oh, I feel because when you feel like you're getting a good rest,
You
everything else through the
function a
day
lot better.
follows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're right. I function on like a 6.5 hours of sleep pretty much, that's about it. And I have a lot of energy like throughout the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
Like and it's not, and I think it really comes through that regulation of blood sugar, what our supplements are doing. The fact that the body doesn't just keep going up and up and up and down and up and down like a roller coaster. We are through the chromium, it kind of like balances out,
Yes.
and I really do think it makes a huge difference in how the energy level pins out. So
Yes. I think
yeah.
it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's like this little pink drink everyone made fun of, right?
Right.
But it really does. It makes such a big difference. Like it's amazing. And like even I have to just keep saying, like now being back here, I've been consistent on my supplements for 3 years, and coming back here and like realizing what it feels like not to be consistent. Gosh, I'm going to be a complete lifer, I have to say, because it's just like there's no way that I want to ever not feel like it feels when we take our supplements on time
Right.
and regular, because it just is such like the whole, for me, like what it feels like, it's like the whole body just functions well. Like it feels good.
Yes.
Like everything feels good. Like, and yes, is it an overnight fix? No, right? I
Mm,
mean, some people have very fast results and some people have not that fast results, right? But you and I have been now on them for 3 years. I mean, every lifestyle change that's real, right? I would really, I mean, say it's real. If you want something real, then those supplements, they need to be taken regularly. They are not going to be magic pills that make you like poof skinny without any
right.
exercising or lifestyle changes or anything else. But
Yes.
they, boy, they definitely aid.
And I do like I with what you're saying, it's huge. It's understanding that supplementation is just that. It's a
Yeah,
supplement to what you're already doing. You know, when I
right.
talk with my friends and family, I explain to them, I said, you have to have the three pillars. You have to have your exercise, you have or your movement. I'm not going to call it exercise. You have to get moving
Movement,
your body. Like we're especially this year, we're
right.
stuck at desks. You know, we got to get up and move our bodies. We've got to eat better and make good choices. And then the supplements are going to help everything else.
I
I
have
wouldn't
to
have
tell
gotten
you
like another
about the
thing that I
movement. I
started this
have to
year.
tell you a
Yeah.
story. Sorry to interrupt you again, but I got my watch now, right? So I finally have like the circles. And here's the thing, people
Yeah.
think they're moving a lot more than they actually are. Like here, I'm with my
Oh, yeah.
children. Yes, I'm thinking I'm very active. So I put in my activity goal as like very active, right? That's my thought, my mindset. It's like, I'm very active. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, why am I not reaching the ring? Like, why is the ring not coming through? And I'm like, I had to like put it down all the way down because I'm not by a long shot as active as I had thought that I was. And that's, I feel
Right.
like what comes in addition to the supplements, like when your body starts feeling good and you are actually able to do something, then the other pillars are coming in, like you said, the movement. Well,
Yes.
let's start moving first, and then you kind of have to start analyzing, like, am I moving even enough? Right? We
Right.
can't just
Right.
say, oh, we're taking a pill and now out of the sudden, we're supposed to be 20 pounds lighter. That's not how this
That ain't gonna
works,
happen.
right? I mean,
No.
it
And it's
doesn't
not going to
even work.
stick if that's what it is. Like you don't want to be stuck on that pill for the rest. And it cannot be good for your body to
No,
be stuck on a
exactly.
pill that is going to keep you at weight loss like that. Like that's just not
Yeah. And
a
I love that
lifestyle.
about our supplementations, that it's just healthy. It's
Yes.
really healthy to get your body and your mindset right, to have a healthy lifestyle, versus
Yes.
just popping a diet
Well,
pill,
and I mentioned like originally I was watching for that hypertension and that blood work. I
Oh,
still go and I get an annual exam every year and I get my blood work done every year because I
and
want to
also good.
monitor it. And the numbers are going down. Like they're not even questioning. Yes, attributed to my weight loss. But that's not it because anybody who has high cholesterol or high blood pressure knows that it's not only your body fat or weight that's contributing to it,
Right.
it's everything
Right.
else. You know, I practice intermittent fasting. I would have never been able to practice intermittent fasting had I not gotten my gut in check and my blood sugar in check. Like
Yeah.
anybody who's done it and understands that doing it alone is tough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I attribute my success with intermittent fasting because my supplements help support it.
Yeah. I have to agree. Like there would have been no way. There would have been no way.
Yeah.
And as far the emotional eating, I really do believe to get over emotional eating, you have to have the component of your gut health, taken care of. The
Yes.
body needs to be balanced out. The blood sugar needs to be regulated so that you don't have this I'm exhausted eating, because that people think it's emotional, but it's really not. It's just you are like your body's insulin levels drop down and you're trying to grab something to make it up, right, to come up. But when you
Right.
have the regulated blood sugar levels, then you cut out that component, so you
Mhm.
already are starting to recognize you don't need to emotional eat to bring yourself back up. You don't, that's gone. Now we can work on, if you still have cravings. Yeah. Oh, and then the cravings, like, people say your body needs it. Well, no, your body doesn't need it. Candida yeast in your body might need it, but your
Yes.
body doesn't need it. That was one of the things that I realized. I remember the cravings. I would be in the pantry always like snacking on things, and I thought my body needed it. But then when I used my the probiotics, and killed all that candida yeast, out of the sudden, I don't have those cravings anymore. So somehow my
Right.
body didn't need it. The yeast in my gut needed it, but my
Correct.
body didn't need it. And then, well, after that, after you have your body balanced and figured out and basically done, that's when then the mindset emotional part comes in, where you say, okay, like me, I did some emotional eating, obviously, through grief, right? And
Mhm.
the moment you start seeing that, like you start comfort eating, you pay right away. I can't wait now to be back on my routine, because my feet don't feel the same. My joints don't feel the same, because it just was way too much sugar, you know, and
Yeah.
that's the side of it. But I know
Yeah.
I have
And
great
I definitely,
supplements.
the emotional eating, I
Yeah.
definitely agree with. Now, understand, I still have chocolate. I still eat cake. I
Yeah.
still enjoy the goodness.
Right.
But like Stephanie is like, but like you're saying, is that I I know that it's not that I need it. I want to taste of it. I want to enjoy it, but
We
I
want
can
to
walk
live,
away
you
from it.
want to live a life. You
Right.
don't want to, like, exactly.
And I never was able to walk away. That was my whole thing, is that's where like I caught a little bit of that binge eating, to where it's like I would start eating it, but I couldn't stop and walk away. Like I didn't know how to control that.
Right.
And through getting my body healthy, I'm now having a better relationship with food. I
Yeah.
still enjoy eating. I still
Yeah.
enjoy my good stuff, right? But I know how to control it, and my body's balanced enough where when
It's
I
because
do
now you're
enjoy it,
tasting it. You don't just, it's
right.
not like your body doesn't like take it, you
Yes.
are tasting it. I think there's a huge difference. So thank you so much,
Yes.
Becky. I really, really
Of
appreciate you
course.
taking the time. And I'm gonna post it, and then I'm gonna tag you. And then if you can post your
Yeah,
before and after, I'm gonna do the same. And
of
then,
course.
you know, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I can't
Of
wait to
course,
see where
sweetie.
we are gonna go.
I know. I love
I
you. I miss you. Stay
miss you
healthy.
too. All right. Bye.